Hello and welcome to Be Powerful with Liz and Lee. It's a new day and we're so glad you're here.
So you can expect to hear candid conversations on what it means to be powerful. Live authentically, live in the midst of ups and downs, productively, and above all else, joyfully.
We are so thankful for you, our community of listeners, and we hope you enjoy today's show. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Lee.
Welcome, everybody, to our first live recorded podcast. We are sitting here in the studio under Be Powerful with a beautiful array of guests and friends and clients and a few people who we've never met before. And so thank you all for being here.
Yes, we are under my favorite sign, Be Powerful. And we named this podcast Be Powerful because that's what Lee and I are about. And we're excited you're joining us today to sort of explore what that might feel like for you and explore the different ways in which we can continue to find our most authentic, powerful self and the words that have all been overused, but that I think we all resonate to. And so we're excited to be, this is where we generally work out.
I know, it's
we're
fun.
All dressed up.
And a few of us have already worked out today and showered and come back. So pat on the back to all of you who have done that.
Yeah.
So talk about Be Powerful, what it means to you, how it's changed over the years, and what you want people to feel when they hear that.
Right. I remember sitting at my kitchen table maybe 8 or 9 years ago, and a friend came over and she said, "What is it you're trying to do with this workout you have called Hilliard Studio Method?" And I said, it's hard to put into words. I can't put it into words. I just want women to be powerful. And she goes, "Well, that's exactly what you're doing then." And she goes, "Well, what do you mean?" And I went, "Well, I want not just women, but I think women really struggle a little bit with their own power because we're so conscious and generally caring more about other people that we sometimes make ourselves smaller in life in order to fit in order to make sure everyone is comfortable, and to generally just get along in society." And so I didn't understand how powerful this sign above my head was, literally, until the last few years. And the more you accept and account for who you are in your own power, the more you change without you even knowing or meaning to. So I just thought and this is the live podcast, so we just saw somebody walk in. We're excited you're here. We're also going to have you guys talk about your own individual questions, whether it comes to power. And let me just, one more thing about power.
Absolutely.
I mean, there'll be many more things about power, but power is not putting fear into people's hearts and telling people what to do. It is about accepting who you are, I am, and who you are, and making people see more of their finer selves, their higher, finer selves. And anybody that speaks to power in a way that comes from fear or that comes from rules and regulations about how people should be, then that's a different type of power that's called fear. But anyway, let's
well, I mean, I think we've both experienced that, and we had our own level of fear in being with each other, of, starting a business, struggling through COVID, coming out together as a couple. And it's just a fascinating process to be able to go through the fear to become powerful. At the end of the day, is such a beautiful journey.
And sometimes power is simply just saying yes or no to something. I mean, it's simply just standing in that moment that you're in and accepting who you are and not agreeing with what society is putting into your space.
Right.
And that takes huge courage. And so I think we've always compared power with the same thing we do in workout. It takes a lot of courage to work your body to a place where you feel very uncomfortable, but then you see a really good change and a healthy change. And that's the same thing about stepping into your own self. We're not advocating that everyone, become gay or lesbian or leave their marriage but we're advocating that you increase your relationship with the people that you love by literally stopping the things that hold you back, because the minute you stop the things that hold you back, you free your loved ones, your children and your husbands and partners to do the same.
Exactly. And I think what we try to do with this podcast and initially with the workout really is to not just say, here's our story and listen to it, but to help other people be able to say, well, here is also my story, and that resonates, or I feel free to be who I am and step outside of my box. And I feel free now to support other people in a way that I didn't know I could before. Because we've stood in front of a lot of people who agree or disagree with us, and that's not the point of life. It's about accepting people for who they are. And in fact, I love the timing of this. Yesterday, we saw the new Jurassic Park movie. Has anybody seen it yet?
It's so
excellent.
Good.
We took the grandkids. I wasn't super excited.
It was in 3D. Go 3D. Wear the glasses.
Yeah, for sure. But, it's in the dark. You get some popcorn and some wine, and hey, what's not to love? So at the end, the moral message is really about how we have to depend on one another, respect each other in order to coexist. Maybe not with dinosaurs, hopefully, but
I thought it was a great message. It was very environmental, and my grandson was all over it.
Yeah, Cameron, the animal man.
Yeah.
He was like, we have to coexist. We're like, yes, buddy, you got it.
And then one more thing I wanted to say, we were on vacation last week, and we were talking to a friend of ours, and all of a sudden, Lee and I don't do normal conversations anymore. We don't do small talk. It's not comfortable, right? So we were talking to our friend. He's a man who has a place down at the beach, and he said, when I moved to Charlotte, I noticed people didn't talk about anything. Mm. And I'm like, well, did they talk about things where you're from? Because we're just finally like, it's time we love each other, because nobody is really bad. We're all just trying to be seen and be heard, and it doesn't matter how you express. It just matters that you express, right?
Right.
And I think a good disagreement, even a good argument, is so good for the soul, as long as you keep it coming from that place of acceptance and love.
I'm going to throw in another anecdote on top of that, and then we'll turn it to y'all. Yeah. But I did hear something really interesting the other day about what keeps a relationship strong, and it's how you fight.
Oh.
At the bottom of the line. Like, yes, you can love each other and have a good partnership, but what is that make or break? It's how you fight, disagree, and use communication and positive tools to get through something that might seem challenging. And I thought that was really, really
that is
powerful. You can squander moments and build resentment and anger, but like at the end of the day, how we react to each other and help each other through, I think, is more important.
Right. So do you think we should teach our children confrontation?
Absolutely.
You need to teach yours.
I'm slow on that. I do. We avoid it.
High pop.
On this side of the table, we avoid confrontation.
Yeah. No, Lee is the absolute. No.
We all need to be happy here,
let's all go along. But
you.
I'm bull on a head.
Bull in the china shop. Anyway, let's just get to it.
So, how does that feel for y'all? And feel free to jump in. And people are walking in, and this is kind of great. And there's Renata. I'm just going to yell her out because she's the fashionista, one of the fashionistas of the city, along with you can't see her, but Erin McDermott, who's been here before.
Been on the podcast.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. How does that resonate? If anybody wants to share about how your version of what be powerful means to you. Maybe it's a different word or language or things in your life that you've struggled with, and then you've come to the other side, and what you've done to get there.
Or maybe even just the workout. It's not the big stuff, It's the little stuff that turns into lots and lots of steps to the big stuff. And I'm looking at my new friend, Carol, right here. I'm sorry, Carol's not on camera because she's gorgeous.
That's a beautiful
smile. And I wish
smile.
I could tell her at her age. Can I really? So she's 78.
What?
So you'll hear that in the mic. And
wow.
so I literally
78.
just had one conversation with her. And here's the thing, I think you can see the power in people. So I come from a place of, I think, love and joy. And so I just immediately see that in another human being. And what I see in her is a vibrance. And I think that's a key to beauty, whether it's physical or spirit, whatever. But the beauty really resonates. And just thank you for being here, Carol. You're one of the, and I know we're on a podcast and you're probably listening, but even if you're on YouTube, you're like, where's Carol?
We got another angle.
Carol, you're welcome to come up here if you want to
do a little dance,
make a little walkthrough. You're welcome to do that.
But can I ask you a question, Carol? How do you stay feeling young and vibrant? I hope you do, because you look it.
You want to come up here and speak on the mic? No. Yes. Okay, come here.
Oh, wow, good.
Oh, this is great. This is almost like The Price is Right, except it's not. There's no prize. Keep going.
Here you go. Talk to us.
I look at life a little differently. I look at not as age, but aging and how you go about aging. I also look at self-acceptance. And I think that's a big key. You can look around at other people and you can wish and you can want those things, but the whole thing here is self-love, self-care, and acceptance. And I think as females, as we go through our lives, I think that's our biggest struggle. We look at other images and not ourselves. And the other thing that I have learned over the years is to be authentic. To be upfront and not have this facade in front of you when you meet other people that you can't be you. Because once you learn how to be you, you're over the hump, ladies, let me tell you. And speak honestly and openly about how you feel and how you accept life. I look at life as a lifestyle, and that's how I deal with exercise. And I do a lot of exercising.
And Hilliard Studio Method is on your agenda, right?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. And in fact, the reason I came not only to listen to you, but to come to the facility.
Oh, good.
It means a lot to me where I go, where I get my energy.
Yes.
Okay, because that's so important.
Well, we feel that thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
We really,
woo! Yes, round of applause.
We really feel that this place has an energy, and we know that this energy starts, with the creation of it, but it's also continues with the human beings that fill the room.
Right.
And we don't have room in here for disharmony. And I think you know it. And even if you come in here maybe on a day when your husband or your partner is driving you crazy, or your children or whatever, there is a place here to find a peace. Now, it might be on your 23,000th push-up, and you might be yelling at me because I've counted wrong for the 100th time.
Likely.
But I think that's the support, and that's the be powerful support that we've always tried to do here. And I liked what Carol said, because she said accept, but it's hard to accept who you are until you count to yourself until you go. Till you really go, wow, there's some things that I'm really resisting noticing about myself. And when I do it every day, and I bet you do too, Carol, is you have to account for some of the painful things, the things you don't like about yourself. You don't go, oh, I'm better than that because I'm raising my level of vibration and I'm going to be just positive. No. Account for the fact that you're not always positive, that things are not feeling so great in your life.
Well, I think when I, knew that I wanted to be with you, I already just said I don't like confrontation, and that's kind of a on paper confrontation, or something a little challenging. And I think that knowing inside is what you have to listen to because you can be too afraid to do it. But when you keep moving and you just go do it because you know that's the only option, then you can get to that self-acceptance and that awareness so much more quickly. And you go, why did I do it earlier?
You're the example. I mean, I think we all sit in our space and we go, yes, but. But I remember before we were together, I mean, we were best friends. And I remember hearing your story and thinking, oh, I mean, really, I felt for you because you felt so stuck. And I'm not just talking about a marriage I'm not disparaging any of that. But she had a stuckness of this is who I am and this is who I have to be. And I was just like trying to unlock the keys and release her a little bit. And I didn't realize what I was releasing. But yeah.
But it's still always a practice, right? So I feel so much better as a person, but all those things that still go on in your head, I'm not good enough or look a certain way, like they're still there, but every time you practice dealing with it, you get a little stronger. And I like what you said about, Carol, the images that we see. And I think the whole, as women, the more we talk about that and the more we say we support each other, the more we will.
Yes.
The more we have to.
Well, because nobody else is. And especially, I mean, when you hear me talk on if you've heard the podcast, which of course Carol has not, but that's fine. You'll listen to this one.
Came to the first one, got on the first one. I like
she
this.
got on the camera and now she's
I like
in
it. She's in. Carol's in.
But as we are women sitting in this audience, and we certainly welcome men all the time. I'm a big lover of men and women. But we do live in a very patriarchal society where decisions are being made for women on a daily basis, whether it's who's going to pick up carpool or are you going to be able to have an abortion. It doesn't matter what the issue is. There is a form that we live in that I think, have to constantly, in small ways, break out of, you know? And just account for it. Account for, I don't feel good about that.
Right.
I don't feel good about the way decisions are being made. I have a power. I have me. I can speak out. I mean, I would like nothing more than to see these women and, people will run for office that don't think they can do that, right? And make changes, big changes and small changes. Stephanie, you're going to probably be on the ticket next year,
That's what I was going to say. I'm looking at you, Steph.
So,
do y'all have questions or want to share anything?
Yeah.
Yes, Steph.
One of the reasons Be Powerful is so meaningful is that we started with the exercise. I have been with you for a long time. And that was the exercise part. And it overflowed into your podcasting, your clothing, your sharing of different things that you do to maintain a lifestyle that I think is so important. And that's where I got caught up. And I love being caught up in it.
Wow.
I love that.
Thank you. Should we repeat some of that just in case it
So to make sure everybody heard that concept of the lifestyle, the overall health and wellness, that Be Powerful is more than the workout, than the words. It's the community, it's the clothing, it's the podcast, it's your book, it's everything we all are. That's our best
It's relationship, because I was with Stephanie before I ever thought of this.
Right.
I was your personal trainer.
OG, baby.
OG. She is OG all the way.
She's so good.
Yeah, exactly.
She even does her own. She's so good.
Yeah. But, and that's important, community. And I really, go ahead, Renata.
And I'll say also the experience. I think the experience of coming in here that brings it all together. So I think that's, how you guys make us feel.
And so Renata just said the experience and how this place and how we make her feel. It's reciprocal.
Yep.
What you give is what you receive. And so this space is a space of love. And I use those terms really broadly when I use the terms of love. It's joy, it's acceptance, it's support. Mm-hmm. It's a rest while it's a workout. It's a rest from the whole thing. because the whole thing has been really tough.
I love that. I think that's so important. And I always tell Liz that her superpower is really seeing people and knowing kind of what they need in this very authentic way. I mean, you are just exactly who you are when you show up. You might say something that makes me go, oh my goodness. First of all, that's not her name.
That's right.
Second of all, okay. But I mean, it's the truth. And so you bring out the truth in other people. So when you behave like that to someone, they behave that way back, you know? And that's where you get the depth of relationships and conversations.
Oh, okay. Well, and I think we all do that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for.
Well, you've taught us how to do that, I think.
Okay. Well, thanks. That's great. I need to continue that. We all need to continue that. And that's the beauty of life. I still look around and I see the hardships and the wars and the bad things and the people doing mean things. And you don't understand why those people are doing those mean things. And I just still am trying to look at them and going, they're also made from joy. They are all those people doing all those things that you disagree with are divine humans. We're divine. We're divine and we're from love and joy. And when I look at Regine Beckler's artwork and she's got like the Clorox woman and that is from the heart of joy, showing all the different, I could never speak to her art, but the expression that we do in the world,
right?
That it's all from that. And sometimes it gets sideways. And when it starts to do that, or when I start to judge other people, which I do, I mean, don't we all? Like, how dare they?
Right,
how dare they infringe upon my right for reproduction, even though I'm way past that.
Thankfully.
Then I go, where is that coming from?
Right.
So where can I fix that down here so that it expresses
on a higher level?
On a higher level, besides doing things like voting and all those things. But I mean, really, that's why I always, and we threw this out on that 3 podcasts ago. We want people that disagree with us on different things because we all agree on one thing. We all want to be seen and loved, right?
Right.
And we want to be heard.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, that's really it, to be heard. And that's what, talking about the exchange of energy a little bit. So when you come into the studio, like, I feel like I teach such a better class when y'all are here, right? Like when people are here, it makes me go, oh my gosh, I know what you're going through. I know what it takes to get here. And I'm here to give you everything I've got. And that's what you're doing too. Just being on the mat is giving everything you've got. And that like exchange of, helping each other through something that's really hard in this space in order to do something really hard in another space. So I kind of wanted to ask who's come in here, taken class and felt terrible when they gotten here, like bad mood, shit going on, worried about things all the time. Okay, when you leave, hopefully, this is not a planted question, do you feel better? Yeah, and what do you think that is? I mean, we've spoken to it, but for y'all personally.
It's a release.
A release.
I like the camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
Sense of family. Yeah, I was going to say that too. Like, this is the one place, and you and I know
Yeah.
where I truly feel like I can come as I am, right? And I'm not expected to talk about nothing outside of these walls. And it's like a breath of fresh air. And I don't know why, but like everybody, I thought it was so scary to come and do this workout just because it looked intimidating. But like, and I think everyone can attest to that. Like, it's not. Once you're here, and you struggle through your class, and I still do. You struggle through class.
Me too.
To do it, but it's like no one's reprimanding you or telling you you're doing it wrong. It's just like Lee will come and correct you, and like people will pump you up, and it's just so refreshing. Because the second you walk out this door, it's like, okay, the anxiety starts coming back in about the day and things like that. So.
Well, I think that's a good point about talking about the anxiety starts to creep back later in the day, and to go back to the practices and in here basically like the breath and the focusing on what you can control, like you can control your body and find different ways to bring it back to its center. And that's going to help you continue to kind of fight that away.
The only control we
Hopefully.
have is for ourselves anyway.
Yeah.
We don't have control over any of that other stuff that is happening. Jobs, bosses, children. We kind of have control over children, but not really.
Right.
And that's,
we like to think we
I
do.
just always want to say, I only had one. And so I'm not like a parental expert, but I mean, you're like, you birth a human being that is then its own person. You just try to keep it alive and fed. I mean, you can tell it anything you want to, and it's going to do whatever it wants to do, period. And I think that's great. And again, that's acceptance, right?
Yeah.
As a parent and as a spouse. And, gosh, being married, that's another thing.
You're looking at me as if we're married. We're not.
We're not.
Still up for debate.
Well, we're still considering that.
Yeah.
We're kind of, considering it.
Surprise, we're getting married right here.
No.
No. This is all a ruse.
Yeah, no, we're not
No.
yet.
Well, could I ask you a question, Joe Brent? I'm looking at Joe Brent, who owns a wonderful med spa, is that the appropriate term, in town. And as we talk about image, I like how you empower women with what you do. So did you have a goal in mind, to do that? I mean, I just like you as a human and individual and think you support women. So I'd just love to know your perspective.
I definitely support women, but my first priority, to be honest, was I didn't want to get old. I mean,
Yeah.
that was my number one goal.
That's
And
honest.
I lost my big girl job and tried to figure out what I was going to do. And I came across this opportunity. It was a great one. And now I love seeing women leave happy. And I love seeing their progress.
Right.
Because, it's kind of like working out. You don't go to the gym and suddenly you're thin.
Right.
You don't go to a med spa or a plastic surgeon or whatever and suddenly you're perfect.
How do you feel about being old now?
50's been a little challenging. I'm not gonna lie, 40 was my favorite.
40s were her favorite. I like it.
But 50's been a little challenging. Things starting to break down. We talked about this. I have, aches and pains, and I didn't have those in my 40s.
But what do you have now that you're 50 that you didn't have in your 40s? Let's look at the other side of that.
Confidence.
Right.
I can show up, no makeup, hair in or out, because it's extensions. And just feel the best about myself. I really care what I think now.
Don't you feel like,
Love
though, whatever age it takes, you start to own who you are?
You do.
I mean, I didn't own who I was till I turned 60. I thought I did at 40. And I was really sure I did at 50. But then at 60, I went,
Even more.
I own this shit.
This is good news, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like, Liz, you always own this shit.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought I did too. I thought I did too. It's sort of like the more you explore who you are, and it's not really about just Liz. It's like everybody, like meeting these people, y'all, everybody. Because I think through community, through communion with other humans, they show you who you are and you show them who they are.
Mm.
So that's why I'm always like, let's do this exchange of energy that is really through love and acceptance. And so the more I did that, the more I realized, it's like when I wrote the book, Be Powerful, and I've said this before, I'm almost embarrassed. It's so not enough. It's just not enough. There's so much more that needs to be said there, because I was walking on the edge of being powerful.
Yep.
And then I just dove in head first and went, because when you know something, you can't unknow it.
Mm.
And when
So
I realized that, I was living a facade of a life. I was the, person who was the authority on fitness and influencing women, especially, to be their best selves. And I was not.
Mm-hmm. You know what's so interesting when you said that? Like, as I look at y'all's beautiful faces, I'm like, no one here, in my opinion, is living a facade. And that makes me so proud to know everyone. And maybe that's why you're here, because maybe you don't think we are either. And I think that's really, really just an interesting point to make, that these are people who I see as really strong, very different, very independent women who support other women. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm looking at a couple of you right now. I know you're doing some things that are that I know about. We don't always know what people are going through, but I know some of you are going through some really big deals. And those big deals are your greatest opportunities. The big deals that feel like they're going to destroy you. They feel like, I don't have a clue. This is a cliff and there's a big fiery bull running at my back. What do I do? You're going to have to jump. And when you jump, you're going to see what happens. Maybe you're going to sprout some wings. Maybe you're going to fall down and, hurt yourself a little bit.
So can I ask you, Stephanie, a question? Do you both think that when you decided to get together, that you were given a second chance? Do you feel this is a second chance, and I mean this in a very broad spectrum, at life?
That's a great question.
Did you get the question on, can we hear it?
Yeah, and my answer is 100% yes. And not just in this relationship, as a person, as a mother, a whole lot as a mother, because I changed my children's life, really. And I think me knowing more and going more eyes wide open, hopefully will be more valuable for them, in my opinion. And you're the person who's opened me up, Liz, the most.
Mm-hmm.
And being with you was never something that I would have ever imagined. I mean, I was on a path of marriage forever, 2 kids. We were close to the white picket fence.
I've never even liked a girl before.
Kind of thing, right. And I don't think I've really liked a boy before, so now it makes sense.
I'm telling you, she was born a lesbian.
I mean, I tried hard. No, but my answer is 100% yes, and I'm so grateful for it. And maybe there's another, and not even a chance, but just the next part of life, that it doesn't have to be stagnant, that I'm always open to whatever's going to happen.
I second that emotion. I think that I've had so many changes. I've started over so many times in my life. And the older you get, you'll realize, wow, I'm starting over again. Oh, I'm going to do it again. Oh, I'm going to do it again. This was such a big shift. This shift was not only that I fell in love with Lee, and not just fell in love, but found truly love I didn't understand was there. But that opened up things in me that I was able to give to other people. It made me more of me. Me more of me makes you more of you. If I'm looking at Brittany and she's giving me more of every time I am back and forth with her. So second chance, I'd say we get a lot of chances in life and we pass them up. And because of fear and because of, oh my God, what will people think? Oh my God, I'm going to have an affair with my employee who's a woman.
It's going to go well.
And see how that works out. I'm sure no one will have a problem with that.
They'll keep coming to class, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, surely. I mean, I live in a Bible Belt. Are you kidding me? We are in the whitest white community of the country clubs. Exceptions. 2 of y'all, but you're still out there. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we are living in the world of privilege and of white privilege, and we know it. And it's not acceptable to do this. But when you own it and when you accept it and when you're authentic with it and you come from a place of love, then all the heaps and the guns and the darts and the stuff, and they came hard, and we lost friends and we lost people we loved. We thought they came hard, but what was left was the real, and the real, it was so real, the people and the things that life has a different color now.
For sure.
Don't you think?
I mean, I think that we say that a lot to one another.
Yeah. I'm amazed. We're amazed a lot. We have so much.
Is this
really,
fun?
Yeah. We're like, are we supposed to like this much?
Which is very lucky, but I think
I think it's courageous and it's hard. But I'm not saying, and that's why I'm always kind of worried. I'm on the edge of like telling someone they should run off from their mate and find another one. That is not it.
Find yourself.
You just open yourself up, accept wow, I really am having a problem with you, husband or wife, and you've got to hear this, and it might like turn things really weird, but let's do this together because we really love each other. Or maybe we don't. Go ahead.
Yeah, you say that a lot on your podcast, and I always chuckle because as a listener, I don't take it that way. I think what you guys do is show that, you know, I'm not big on terms and classifications. I just think the heart wants what the heart wants. And if you fall in love with your best friend, your boss, whatever, then okay, great. I think that's wonderful. I don't think you woke up one day, like you said, let me try being a lesbian today. Like, I don't think we do that, right?
It used to gross me out. I went, how do they do that?
You acknowledge and encourage people who may have, you know, that person, that friend, that confidant that they feel that extra connection to. Because you can feel it. You always know it's there. And to maybe take a look at it.
Right.
And, you know, whether they choose to act on it, that's their business. That's not yours or your decision or telling them to do it. I just think you guys do a great job in telling your story so that people that may resonate can be like, okay, well, let me take a look at this. Like, is it something I want to explore and kind of dive into? Or is it like, you know, like, is it a Liz and Lee, or is it just something like I feel comfortable with this person?
I appreciate that.
Can I just say something about that? Because I love what you just said, but I think there, and the term spectrum, and that's why I like that we're in Pride Month, you know, all the colors of the rainbow, we're all on that spectrum somewhere. And I don't think that Stephanie is on one side of the spectrum and that I'm on the other. I think we're on different waves of that spectrum all the time. And to close ourselves off just because society or even us, we say, oh, I'm just this, is to not allow the spirit in us to be who we desire to be. And so I don't even like the term gay, lesbian, or any of that stuff. And that's why we're going to do a Pride interview with two different people from the gay and lesbian community, because I have a hard time labeling myself as anything.
Right.
I'm a human being trying to be my best human self.
Right.
And right now that looks like this.
How long's that going to last? I mean, I'm just saying. And one more thing, Smith, to your point, I think it's about not being blind to what's going on in your life, right? To be eyes open and aware and to deal with it, right? Ignoring things out of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Erin McDermott.
So when you both got together, did you expect that you would now be so open to share and kind of take the power away from everyone else and do a podcast and just tell your story?
When we first got together,
You have something to say? I
I'm
can tell.
sorry.
Go
I was
for
going
it.
to deny it.
Yeah.
It was not going to happen. I was going to make it go away. You can answer more. I was going to make it go away. I mean, I was in the middle of separating from a human being that happened to be a man
For 37 years.
for 37 years. And this could not be possible. I denied it. And
I was like,
you were like,
let's go.
mm-mm.
I really was. I just knew.
Oh, and the threats that came. I think some of us can understand the threats that might come our way. I mean,
Mhm.
real threats,
Yeah.
real ones.
Right. And so when you work through kind of the logistical details of divorce and then getting together, there was I feel like we've gone day by day, but not, I feel like the minute we actually romantically have been together, like that's it. No other plan, no thought, no scheming, no what should we do next. I mean, for me, it felt like one big blackout zone
To
for
me,
a while.
it was the
And
scariest
then
and the most natural thing in the world.
at the same time.
As
right.
I denied it, the words were coming out of my mouth, but inside my spirit was laughing out loud, laughing out loud at the way my self was behaving. Going, sorry, sweetie, that train has passed the station. You missed it. You're in it now.
But you didn't. You didn't miss it.
No,
You didn't
it's,
miss
I mean,
it.
it's just like the greatest thing that's ever happened. And so again, those things take courage, whether it's a relationship or it's a job. Go ahead, Brittany.
My question is, what was the hardest part of it? Was it telling your loved ones when you decided, or was it coming together? Because like you all said, it was hard to do that. So what was harder?
Good question.
For me, it was, we're going full circle again. Lee does not like confrontation. So it didn't go probably as smoothly on my side of the fence because I just wanted to be like, this is what I'm doing. I'm an adult now, so everybody get on board. And that's not really like a great way to handle.
Can I just
Go ahead.
No, this would be wrong, right? We could always cut it out of the podcast.
Go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
Okay, can I just say what she did?
What? What did I do?
She did nothing. She didn't tell her parents, nobody. And so what we do, and I'll tell you mine later, but we get on a plane. Can I say that?
Sure.
To go to Italy. Okay. First of all hell has broken loose. All hell. You can't even imagine. I mean, just stuff. And so we get on a plane together to go away. And I still remember, wheels up, and like the whole weight of the world went, and we had the best trip ever. Well, we get to this fabulous resort on the Amalfi Coast, and she just types out a long email to all the people in her family.
Did I really?
Yes.
I don't even remember this. Like I'm blacking
And
it
she
out.
has me read it, and I'm like, whoa.
Oh my God.
And she sends it.
Well, it had come up before. This was not like, guess what?
There was a
It
lot
wasn't
of
like
heat
that.
going on at the time.
There was a couple
in her-
levels.
There was a
of-
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as I went, the hardest part was not falling for her. The hardest part was really, you would think it would be telling my ex-husband. He was the most supportive. I've already said it on the podcast. I want to do it again. He and I are still good friends. He supports both of us. His was the easiest. The hardest was telling my daughter. Because just imagine. I mean, and I literally, when I told her, because she thought there was all kinds of other things going on with me and Lee. Like Lee was trying to force her out of the business or some kind of thing like that. Like, what's going on with you and Lee? That's when Clary was still in it, and all that. And so I remember literally kind of sitting, and then I felt my body go into a fetal position, and then I felt myself fall out of my chair, and I felt her pick me up.
Literally.
And she sat me on her lap. That's how scared I was. And I cried I couldn't speak. All I could say was her name.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, what? And I went, and then she went, that's it? She goes, that's great. But then reality hit, and we had to go and figure it all out. But that's the hardest thing, is to tell the people that you love, and that also that you've also, as a mother, I've put on and this is who I am.
Right. A persona already.
And I know what I'm doing. And I will always be this and always be that.
Mhm.
And that's why now I hope that people will, they still have to be, the mothers to their children that make their children feel secure. But they need to let their kids know they're human.
The reality.
I don't
Yeah.
think I did that well before. So.
That's a great point. We hadn't really
Yeah.
talked about. I mean, that's so true.
Yeah.
So we both handled it differently. Again, just how we normally
The
would.
email was excellent,
Yeah.
though.
And it took time. I mean, I'm just a slower process of a person. And I think what was really hard was standing up in front of these classrooms, not knowing how anybody felt or how it affected them or what they thought of us, because I have such pride in, being here. And that was challenging. But again, just coming and going, this is who I am. And I think the hardest part usually is family, because, they've given their lives to you, and to disappoint or confuse or make angry stays with you, right? Like if anybody else who's not your direct family I feel like it would be easier for you to support. Like, maybe that's weird. Maybe I'm going to talk to my friends about that and figure this out, or disagree generally. But like, is it really skin off my own back? Not really. And if we continue to come from always a place of truth and love, then it's kind of like, how can you hate that? If you do, that's on you.
And of course we lost some clients, but I would say this would be the third thing down the wrong: the acceptance of us, the telling of the family, and then the fact that I was now a single woman with a business that could possibly completely go under.
Yeah.
Because the people that come to my space are people that are generally heterosexual, privileged people. And so that, and therefore I met that every step of the way, again, through that. It's an energy, that energy of, it's okay if you don't accept. I didn't say those words, but the energy was, I accept you for not accepting me. And
right.
Wow.
That goes a long way.
I was shocked to tears to the people that just, you would think would not accept, and they did. And I'm looking at a lot of y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Thank
was
you.
shocked and beautifully shocked, which also made me go, wait, this is great stuff, because the more we are ourselves, the more people really want to support you. Even if they don't, they go, what? Like, what the hell, Liz? Get your shit together.
Lee?
Yeah.
Lee?
Yeah, right.
Her?
Well, it's just, yeah.
No.
So
it's been a journey.
it's been a journey. And that's why we do this podcast. We started the podcast. Well, we started the podcast for a lot of reasons. One of them, we're going into COVID. We wanted to keep the community together. But it was also a way to just sort of keep everybody's joy up.
Right.
Joy can be in the midst of solid pain and community. And you're not ever alone. People love you. We love you. Bringing that forth. So anyway, that's about all I got to say about that.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I mean,
burning questions
got
or
off.
shares?
I thought we were going to talk about like diet and exercise.
Not today. Not today. Renata, could I ask you a question, if you don't mind? Beautiful Renata in the back. Joe Brent talked about kind of establishing her business and her empowering of women. And I always have considered you also a strong, confident woman. And I know sometimes that's hard. You just had your third baby, right? And you're working your tail off. My question to you is, you're from Brazil, yes? Do you feel like there's a cultural self-esteem or confidence that's lent to you at all?
And you're welcome to come up and speak too. Okay. She's like, oh no, that's not going to happen.
I mean, yes, we've talked about it a couple times about how the whole culture shock was for me, and when I moved to Charlotte and how everything was, and my expectation from when I moved to Charlotte and what I thought it would be like, I was like, oh, I come from a huge city, I'm coming to a small city. I've been in fashion my entire life. It's going to be so easy for me to find a job where I would want to find a job because of my curriculum and my experience and everything. And nobody wanted me. It was like, oh, no. And I was like, what is going on? So I did feel a huge prejudice from number one, not being American, and number two, not being from the South.
Wow.
You've certainly taken care of that, haven't you?
I tried.
Yes.
So then I was like, okay, so then I had to reinvent myself. Not only as a mom, as a wife, but as a professional. So, I always say that you guys were always amazing. I remember the first time I came here, and I wasn't even selling my stuff yet. It was, other brands from Brazil, and I'm like, Liz, so could I do a pop-up here? And you and Claire were like, of course. I'm like, really? So, I just cannot thank you guys enough for everything. And it was, it's been hard, and it still is hard. So, but I feel, thankfully to so many of you and my amazing friends, and, growing little by little. But I just wanted to say that you guys are inspiring.
We like that. As
That
are
works.
you.
In every single way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As are you.
As are all
everybody
of us.
in this room.
I just was, thinking about when you talked about Clary being your only daughter, and of course, Hilliard Studio Method to you is a child.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've had to reinvent so many times, I would think, and I'm sure you've probably seen other. Have you say it, like other, this, whatever, trying to like copy, like,
Yeah.
what you do, and
I had
That's
some
a
good
great
advice.
question.
And thank you. Renata just said, how do you do it? Because people have copied. Yes. And that is the greatest form of flattery, as they say. But it's not when you're a single businesswoman trying to make your own money. And I remember, and I said this in my book, was I remember when Pure Barre came into town.
Right.
And they were they're still probably the most successful franchised bar workout in America. And I was like, I remember just breaking into a cold sweat because I was still subleasing a place over on Park Road, and I didn't even have really my own equipment. You know, I was just doing this thing. And I had a client say to me, and she was right to this day, and it really inspired me. She said, they have all this, right? But they don't have you. And you bring Hilliard Studio Method to people. It's you. So therefore, to expand the business, for it to be me, it then had to become Lee and Abby and other trainers. What they don't have is us. It's that personal touch. And I do not worry about competition. As a matter of fact, I love competition. Competition has every single time made me better. Never once has it made me worse. And I think businesswomen in the room, you know that's true. It makes you respect them and work harder. And it wasn't me against them. It was like, I looked at Pure Barre and I went, they're going to increase the awareness of a bar workout in Charlotte. But they don't have me.
That's right.
You know? So
it's a great question.
And again,
so
in the fashion business with you, Renata, you're going to have a lot of people that do that. Erin McDermott, there's a lot of people making jewelry, but they don't have you. They don't have your talent. They don't have your talent. And Regine Beckler, hands down, I've never seen anybody do the stuff she does. Right? Have you seen her artwork? I mean, everybody in the room, whatever you do, if you just make a great pound cake, you know, I mean, just whatever you do, just do it well and own it and love it and be it and share it.
Yeah. I think we all have a lot of passions within us, and you don't always have to try to find the thing you're most passionate about. Just each day it can be different. Today I'm passionate about what am I feeling, and how can I embrace that and share that with the world? That's enough, you know?
And that's what I want us to walk out of here with today is just know the passion you are today. Accept it. And if the passion is anger because of whatever it is, own that. Put it in a spot and go, there is that. Where will I take that? Where will I take that anger and use it to make not only me better, but everybody interact today with? I mean, because the world is full of just swirling dark anger and fear, and you know, everybody wants to be, I'm on this side, you're on this side. We can never agree. We are all on the same side of humanity, and we can find ways to agree with each other by sharing the passion of who we are and listening.
Yeah.
So
I think y'all all said it. Come to church.
This is good.
And laid it down.
I guess
That's
we'll
really
save
fun.
that whole exercise tip for the next time.
Yeah. Like you said, we like to go deep.
Yeah, we
in
just
it.
like to go deep.
Yeah.
We don't have any shallow conversations anymore. And I challenge you to do the same. And I will tell you this too, and I've said this on the last podcast, I no longer tolerate people that have disparaging things to say about other people. Everybody likes a good dish of gossip, because Clary and me and Lee were just at the beach and we had a real hard time, you know, but not when it's going to be demeaning or racially or you know, sexually, any of that stuff.
Yep.
It's just not allowed in my home. I have a space. If you've got a space, choose your space and own it and be powerful with it, and encourage those others to do the same.
Boom.
Boom. Are we
Thank
done?
you. Let me say the thank yous to Laura for being here from Laurel Bell Photography for us today, to Mare from Mare's Charlotte, beautiful cheese board, and she provided some bubbly. So when we leave, make sure to grab some. So thank you to Mare, to Abby Cooper, who may have needed to leave, but who helped us set up, and Chelsea, if she's wandering around, to everybody who helped us make this a fun afternoon. And thank each of you for coming. Thanks everybody at home for listening.
I want to say a shout out to
support.
Brittany Bogues because
Yes,
she's
of
helping
course.
us do some fun things coming up in the future. And she's got a really good group called Bogues Group that we're working with. So, everybody's supporting everyone else. So yes, continue on and
That's
thank you.
it. That's it. Everybody go have a great day. I love you.
I love you.
Woo!
Thanks for listening to us today, wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, you can now find our podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. If you liked it, please share, rate, and review. We love 5 stars. And we hope you'll work out with us online or in studio at HilliardStudioMethod.com.